Welcome, lovely one, to the Meant for More podcast. My name's Lisa Clifford, and I am building the world's most empowering Meant for More movement, leading millions of heart-led purpose seekers from feeling insignificant to invincible. So I truly hope you enjoy this next episode. Welcome, Mel Canavan, to the Meant for More podcast. And I can't believe I've not had you on this podcast sooner, because I feel like I've known you forever. But in reality, it's been about 18 months, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I've known you forever. I feel like I've known you my whole life.
So Mel and I met at the Athena conference, which is a conference for female entrepreneurs that get investment from women angel investors. And you were there. And I remember exactly where you were, even though we didn't know each other. But when we spoke later, I said, yes, you were sat to the right of where I was stood. And in this event, I was running a session on mindset and that anything's possible. And one of my tools, one of my friends that I took in, was the Glasswalk, and a few people got an opportunity after my teachings, and then to evidence the teachings, was to walk over the Glasswalk, which was this real inward, inner world experience of self-awareness and being with who you are and whatever is happening, being okay with it. And Mel got in touch with me, you got in touch with me a few days later to say, I want to learn how to do that. So we then had a conversation, and I said, well, I do teach it, but it's part of a bigger training for transformational leaders. I do a course called the Firewalking and Empowerment Instructor Training course, and the Glasswalk is part of that whole training, along with board break, arrow break, rebar bend, firewalking. And you said, sign me up. Yeah, I was like, well, if that's what I've got to do, then I'm going to have to do it, because I need to learn the Glasswalking. As soon as I met you and saw you, I just had this connection. It was like my soul recognised your soul or something. It was just, I can't explain it, but I just knew I had to contact you. And we had the conversation, and I just made it happen that I came on the Firewalk Empowerment Instructor Training course, and it totally changed my life. You know, there are those people that you meet in life, don't you, where you don't know them, but you do. And there's a lot of trust in that, isn't there? Because you signed it, you signed up for the training, the cost of the training, the accommodation, not working that week, learning something. And that's a whole lot of trust that you placed in me and yourself, because you were completely outside your comfort zone, weren't you?
Well, just a little bit,
as most people are on it.
Yeah, because I think I had no idea of what to expect. A lot of people know that they want to be a Firewalk instructor, or they want to learn how to break arrows. It was totally not in my consciousness. I'd always been in my NHS bubble. I'd only ever worked in the NHS, and that was my world. And then the universe shook me and threw me out of that world into this business world, entrepreneurial world, not knowing what I was doing, but I was guided and trusting the process. And all the people what were meant to come in my life were coming into my life. And then I met you, and I had no understanding of how much you were going to change my life. I just thought it was a tick box exercise. I was just going, learn how to glasswalk. Oh, well, if I have to learn how to firewalk, then I guess I'll just have to do that as well. And I was so undervaluing what it was. And I am so glad.
Your capability. Underestimating what you thought you were capable of.
Yeah, because, well, when I'd signed up, I didn't even really have a chance to think about it because I was quite busy. And then if I would have thought about it, I would have thought, well, obviously someone's building the fire for me. I can't build fires. But when I arrived on the course, we was taught how to build fires. And that was so out of my comfort zone. it was a lot. But that transformation in that week, and the confidence what grew within me, and the healing what took place, the transformation, you know, all these things coming up from my subconscious. So I did not understand that I was going to have that intense transformation, what happened to me, never mind that I was going to be helping people to have that experience themselves. That was so exciting, because when I had the realization of, because I am quite spiritual,
You are spiritual.
well, I am spiritual, and knowing, trusting the process, and then that I was led to you, and then how amazing and special and powerful that whole experience is. And now I know that, wow, the universe really knows what it's doing. It's guided me to the right person, because there's so many people out there what are doing it. I know now, because I have done my own research of who's out there and what's going on and what standards, because I'm quite like that. So even though that wasn't in my consciousness, you know, I thought, let me find out. And I know that the universe led me to the right person with your lineage, your spiritual training. It all aligns with my spiritual journey, what I've been on for the past 20 years. So
Just a moment whilst I get Mel back. Hey, lovely ones. We had a little technical problem in my little studio. So we've resumed. We've got a different laptop out. We've resumed, and we've got no idea where we're up to. True to life. But I think we were saying about the training and how in depth it was, and how what a week it was. And just what I wanted to say, what a star you were, because you really went through it in that week on the training, where there's such a lot that you don't know, and you don't know what we're doing next either. And there's a reason for that. It's so that we keep you in a container of your mind not running ahead of itself and worrying about what you don't know yet, because you've still got to be trained in it. Because it's funny how our mind does that, isn't it? It starts having expectations of ourselves, which is totally unreasonable. Like worrying that you can't do something. Well, of course you can't do it, because you've not been trained in it yet. So, but I saw an absolute gorgeous swan evolve from the week, and confidence and competence and growth and healing. And that only happened because of you, what you gave to it, how you showed up, how you trusted yourself. And it's a completely different world. And we'll go on to what you do now and how involved you are in this world and how you're taking it out into your world. But let's just take our wonderful viewers and listeners back a bit to react to your reality at the time. What were you doing? And I'm really sorry if we've already covered this. One might say I should edit it out if we have, but I think there's something about being real, don't you? So what were you doing in the real world
when I met you?
Yes.
I was in a state of limbo, confusion. I didn't know who I was, what I was doing. I had shattered my own world. I had been a nurse in the NHS for over 20 years. And then I can't remember how long it was before I met you, but I quit the NHS and went on a journey. Everyone was saying, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. It'll be shown to me. I'm quite guided and trust in the process. So yeah, I felt a bit lost, I think, to be honest.
But what you were professionally in the real world was a nurse, weren't you? So you're making it sound like you were living on the streets in flip-flops, with your cap out busking in tube stations. But you were a professional nurse, and you'd done quite a lot in the NHS, hadn't you? You just decided not to be employed, and that you'd be a social enterprise.
Well, that was I've set up my social enterprise in 2016, I think it was. So social enterprises with the NHS at that point was unheard of. but I was given a vision and I followed it and I trusted myself, and I set up a social enterprise to work with GP practices, and we were successful, me and my best friend, colleague, and so this was quite unique at the time. So from that point up until 2023, I worked for my own social enterprise, supporting GP practices to improve the care, reduce costs, training nurses. I'd always been passionate about education and improving quality of care. But then something inside me was stirred, and it was like, you have to move now. And I didn't know what was coming for me, but I trusted it, and I just was on a little journey. I'd also done coaching in the NHS, so I'd set up coaching services and for stress, well-being, menopause, health-related conditions, hypertension, things like that. And so I was a trained coach, but I loved the coaching more than nursing, I think. So I thought, this is what I need to do. I need to do coaching. And when you go out into the business world, because obviously it was a new world to me, you need to niche down. And I'm thinking, what am I going to niche down in? And I niched down into perimenopause because I realised at the time I was going through that myself. And I learned so much. It was quite shocking to me to realise that I was perimenopausal, even though I'd done menopause sessions to empower women in the NHS. That was over there for older women, and that didn't happen to me. And then when I started getting symptoms...
Just for those that are listening rather than watching, how old were you at the time when you say...
42, I think, when I first started getting symptoms. But you start to question yourself, or... And then I'm thinking, you've just been doing all this work with these women and you didn't even know yourself, and no wonder women don't know. So that sent me on another little journey of I learned so much, and I thought I need to share what I've learned with other women to help empower them and give them knowledge, because there's so much information out there, and then there's information what isn't out there. And then I think as well, there's a lot of women out there like me what are perimenopausal, and they don't realise they're perimenopausal because they think they're too young as well, or sometimes they go to the GPs and explain the symptoms, and they're told, no, there's nothing wrong with you, your tests are normal, but actually they are in the perimenopause. So there's just so much out there. So this was kind of where I was at when I met you.
Yeah, I mean, the way you described it sounded less accomplished, because you're totally accomplished. So, and at the moment you also work as a
respiratory nurse specialist.
Yeah.
So that's my passion. I love breathing, and I'm still doing that 2 days a week because I feel like that grounds me and that keeps me in reality. Having these, and I have transforming consultations with patients as well. I love that, the empowerment with the patients in the consultations as well. So I think I do lots of different things and try and bring it all back together.
And when you were doing the coaching, which is obviously still doing it, what was the most eye-opening challenge people had, did you find?
Eye-opening challenge? What do you mean, like?
Any way you want to interpret it.
Eye-opening challenge. I think a lot of people, this is why I like the mindset stuff. A lot of people are not living a life true to themselves, I think. And this is causing conflict within people. So they're living other people's lives, really. What they think the friends should do, what the families should do, what society tells them to do. And I think, from my interpretation of the perimenopause, when a lot of people think they're losing their mind or they're getting angry or all these negative, I think, yeah, we do have the medical aspect of what's going on in your body. The hormones are changing and things like that. But we are more than the physical body. We've got the physical body, emotional body, spiritual, everything. And I think a lot of women going through the perimenopause, it is a spiritual awakening, a spiritual transition. So I see it in a different way. So yeah, I am a nurse, and there is the medical aspect, but when it comes to the coaching, I'm focusing on mindset and helping people through these changes, which can be scary, and helping people to live a life true to themselves instead of for other people.
Yeah.
And going through that can be hard.
What's been the biggest thing you've learnt about yourself that's been invaluable in the last 18 months?
The last thing, resilience. That I can get through anything, what I put my mind to, but also having that self-care and looking after myself. So I've got my first book, which is Looking After Me, and that's all about the mindset, and it talks about self-care and self-compassion. And I think it's really important to implement that for you to be able to get through this life. But I think in the 18 months, it's really been a transition for me, because I have worked in the NHS for over 20 years and it were always, you know, doing. And it was always a lot. And then to leave that job and transition into what I'm doing now was hard for myself to start to just let go, and instead of doing, being. That has been one of the biggest transitions, I think. And so that's all my identity changing as well, and learning to let go and surrender. And because you do have that mind, and that mind's telling you, at first it was, now I'm over that. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. And starting to just let go of that. And I just love being an entrepreneur, of, you know, managing your own diary. And, you know, I might start later, but I'm going to the gym first, and not beating yourself up about doing these things, because that's part of my schedule now, if I can fit that in.
Well, our life is not about work, and yet what we do is we get our identity from our role, don't we? We you know, I remember when I first got the title as sales manager, when people would say, "Oh, what do you do?" I'd say, "I'm a sales manager," and it was, you know, I owned the identity of the role, and who was Lisa? I've got no idea, because I liked being the sales manager, you know. And so we and then there's the whole all that we make it mean, isn't it, as well? All that we make it mean about us, and the absence of almost like we have to protrude an illusion of who we are to be accepted. And in that comes this massive need to, I don't know, give ourselves a hard time if we're not working, that life is about work, and that that we have to justify if we're not working, as though the value of who we are is the amount of work that we do.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big shift in our identity, isn't it? That we have to do with, that we're not our job. We're where we place our heart.
Yeah.
In fact, aren't we? That's who we are, where we place our heart. So I just so I think those things are great, that you know, the biggest thing that you learn about yourself is how resilient you are. What has being self-employed, what has following your heart given you that you could never have got anywhere else?
It's definitely given me a strength, what I didn't have before. It is quite scary, I think, doing what I've just done, and keeping my mindset focused, and because I have this knowing inside of me, but when you're going through this, when you don't know where you're going, what's happening, and the fear can pop up, and just putting a lid on it and just trusting that everything's going to be okay, I think that is really hard, but that was definitely a strength. And talking of fears, thinking about the past 18 months, a lot of my fears have been coming up for me to let go of the fears. So I've been working hard to let go of all these fears, what I didn't even know I had 18 months ago, the things what were holding me back and stopping me. That's been an interesting journey to work on overcoming these fears.
Which fear have you overcome that's given you the greatest freedom?
My fear of being seen, I think.
Oh, yeah. Because it's hard to be an entrepreneur if you don't want to be seen, especially in this day and age where everything's about what we put out onto the screens, isn't it? So, yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about how liberating letting go of the fear of being seen is.
Well, I don't think I knew that I had a fear of being seen until just recent, before I met you, I think. And when I look back, I think, wow, that did really hold me back and stop me from doing a lot of things. Even though I did do a lot of things, I could have done it differently, I think. But then I realised I had a fear of being seen, and I was thinking, I don't know where it is, and it was really annoying me. And then I came on your training, and that was shown to me, a vision of my fear of being seen, and that was just so empowering.
Are we able to share, say no if it's not okay?
Yeah.
The little story. So,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful moment. You were stood to my left. We had built the fire. It was a big fire, and each of you had your own quadrant of the fire, because that night they were doing a very special firewalk. They didn't know what style of firewalk it was. We won't share in case anybody listens to this thinks, oh, I want to do that training. I'll be surprised if they do with the way that we've described it. But I hope you do. And a log came out the fire. Of course it came out. That's what they do. It's a fire. Jumped out, but you picked it up with your fork so quickly and put it back exactly where it came from. And I laughed and I said, nothing to see here, nothing to see here. Because it was that exact mannerism. And even where you placed it was like, yeah. And it was like, oh, I've done something wrong. That log fell out and I don't want anybody to know. A bit like when I fell off a table and broke my leg at a big conference. I tried to stand up really quickly. So nothing to see here, nothing happened.
Wow.
It's a story for another day. But and so when I said to you, nothing to see here, and you just nodded, I said, does that mean something to you? And you went, yeah, of course it does. I don't do a Leeds accent very well. I don't do you any justice, do I? And I said, what? And you said, well, when I was
5, I had to wear an eye patch, and when I came...
Why were you wearing the eye patch? I never knew why.
Oh, it's because my eyesight, I've got astigmatism and short-sighted, I think. So when I went to the opticians, they said, oh, you need to wear an eye patch to help strengthen the other eye. But I was 5, and I remember coming out of the opticians paranoid at 5 years age, all thinking everyone was staring at me, and it was awful. And then I had to go to school, and every single day at 12 o'clock without fail, all the kids would stand around and watch me take the eye patch off, and they'd all go, oh, wow, every day, like they'd never seen it before. And that must have been traumatizing.
I mean, there was a perfectly normal eye under the eye patch, wasn't it? It wasn't like there was no eye in there.
Yeah, and I think, so that just came into, it was like it came up and out, and it was like, oh, that's why I've wanted to hide. I wanted everyone to just stand around and watch me. And that was... Yeah, that was my first shift.
Because at 5, not that we have a consciousness really formed in the way that we do when we're a bit older, that's quite, in any case, it's quite vulnerable having that eye patch removed and a new one put on in front of everybody, and then their reaction to that was really anchored in you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really anchored in you.
And I didn't even know for all them years.
Yeah.
That I just wanted to hide. I didn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, that was such an enlightening moment.
It explains so much of how I saw you operating on the course as well, about this. Well, lots of people do this in all walks of life, whereas I need to be the same as everybody else, because if I stand out, then there's going to be all that attention on me, and I don't want it. So this avoidance of wanting to stand out, even, it plays out in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And so how fabulous for the fire to show that reflection. I mean, I'm glad I caught it in the moment.
Well, if you wouldn't have said that, it wouldn't have
lifted up and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and then that permission to be seen. Because guys and girls, Mel sitting here with a microphone in front of a camera is not her comfort zone at all.
No.
And I'm pretty sure the glitches that we've been having is part of her energetic field. It's like when people want it to rain when they've booked on a firewalk. I start my firewalk saying, right, who's been asking for rain? Everybody puts their hand up. Yeah. So, yeah, this is not Mel's comfort zone. And yet you know that your purpose in life is something much bigger than your vanity even, or even your... much bigger than you. I remember your closing words at one of the courses that you were my team on, where you said, this is God's work. It is much bigger than us.
Yeah, and I just have to get over myself. It is hard, but that's been a journey. Trying to put myself out there on social media. I didn't even know how to use social media.
You're brilliant at making your reels. Gosh, is good.
So, yeah, that's been a journey. And even that in itself, there's still been fear there, but I have to tell myself, this is not about me. My purpose is bigger than me. It's for the benefit of others. So I just have to get over myself, make myself do more of these things until I feel comfortable. Yeah. Until you demand to be seen. You know, because for the right people, the people that need you, Mel, and there's lots of us out there, we have to find you. You can't make it hard for us to find you. People looking under lots of stones and rocks and behind boulders looking for you. We have to make it easy for them, because so you had a big evening last night. So the gap between Mel training and to today, Mel has crewed on my last 2 Firewalking Empowerment Instructor Training courses, where your energy, your support, your excellence is invaluable. Don't make me cry. We get emotional at points, don't we?
And then you have fire tended every single one of my firewalks since then. And I honestly, it is just a joy to see you in your confidence, in your care and love, and to hear you chatting to the fire as you're building it, letting them know that the people are coming and they need your love, and just the care that you give. And I love being around you. So you trained a year ago, didn't you? March last year, February, March last year.
I can't believe it's only been a year.
1 year. You came with me to do that event in Leicester where there was 100 people doing the arrow break, and held the board for 25 of those 100. You did a fire walk with me for female advisory board. You've done all my other fire walks. Yeah, what else have you done with me? Crew 2 Firewalk Instructor Training course. I mean, what else could you have fit in that time? It's been an amazing journey, and it's just the beginning.
I know.
You made your own Glasswalk with me here. That was sisterhood.
Yeah, that was so special. Just with our prayers and intention and love, and to know that we made that.
That was hard labour, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That was because we did it in December when it was cold. Which brings us nicely to what you did last night. Just share with everybody. You ran your first
Glasswalking evening, so it was a serenity evening, so it was a sister circle, very spiritual, because I think when I was originally doing the training with you, I was thinking, yeah, getting into corporates. I don't think I'd ever envisioned doing it as a sister circle, empowerment. And it was just so powerful.
Because you did it at the Buddhist Centre as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Your home.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have a house as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it just felt so special and so aligned that I've been a Buddhist for over 20 years, and it's all about the mind and transforming the mind from negative to positive, and how I've changed my mind from when I started on that journey 20 years ago. I'm a totally different person. I was so angry and so depressed, and I've transformed my mind through the teachings. And then to have my Glasswalk at that centre, I've led meditations there and teachings for about 10 years. But this was, I feel like everything what I've done in my life has led me to this point. Everything's come together.
That's a goosebump moment.
Yeah, like everything. And you can go through life, can't you, thinking, why am I doing this? Oh, what is the purpose? And I always tell myself, there's a reason for this, or, you know, things will be shown to me. And things are along the way, and things do make sense. But this has really just fell in. And it's like, wow, everything in my life makes sense now. Yeah, it's just... yeah.
That's when you know you're in your purpose. Are you going to cry?
I feel a bit emotional.
I do.
Yeah. Wow.
And then for us to have this booked in today,
yeah.
that's when you know you're in your purpose. When your life makes sense. Even the less preferable parts, which is a polite way of putting things.
Yeah.
So last night we designed this wonderful evening around you, your heart, what I say I facilitated it out of her. Because otherwise we can fall into a trap of having to do it like somebody else has done it, rather than what's unique to Mel, what's Mel's style. You're not the person that wants to stand in the front and give a big motivational speech yet, although I see it coming. But you wanted to do something that was so gentle and so needed, which is people at the moment don't stop still. They might stop and scroll, stop and chat, stop and watch, but that stillness to be with themselves, even for a few seconds, is so liberating for the soul and the nervous system, isn't it? And people are in so much avoidance of it without knowing it. And because of that, we become very disconnected from ourselves, don't we? And that's where you were saying earlier, is bringing people back to the truth of who they are. But they don't know it if they're not still with themselves.
No.
And so this evening you designed around people having the opportunities, uncomfortable as it might be for them, even though they booked themselves on, where they come in and they're in quiet, they're in silence, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's called serenity. And they come in, is it in dark or is it in candles?
Well, because it's light now, we pulled the blinds down and tried to make it as dark as it was.
So the room is in dark. They take the shoes and socks off. So immediately there's that lovely grounding feeling, that feeling of connecting.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing we're missing in life, isn't it? Real connection. Like when we listen to somebody, we listen with a view of answering back, and that's what we have to do because we're on a podcast and us sitting in silence. People might forget what they're listening to. So, but in life, that real grounding and that connecting, but mainly connecting to ourselves and not orientating ourselves off people next to us. letting ourselves be our own inner guidance and compass was what you were creating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so people came in, they lay down on the mat that you provided for them, music playing.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. Nice music.
Yeah, the glass walk in the middle of the room.
Yeah, with the lights, the little tea
We've got
lights.
we've got candle lights that are electric. So we don't set
Yeah,
on fire.
no
Flowers.
fires.
It's really, we'll put a picture on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
You got
yeah.
one from last night that I can put on, lovely. And then people were invited up to walk on the glass when they were ready.
Yep. And
the whole evening's meant to be in silence, isn't it?
yep. So people found that difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think it is these days that we find it difficult to be in silence?
Probably because of the chatter, what's going on in our head, the stories, what we tell ourselves, and because we're not aware of our minds.
And then when we're in silence, we hear it.
Even more than, and it's amplified.
Yeah. So people don't like to be in silence because they want to avoid what their own mind is thinking and hearing it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful, empowering night. And to hold that energy, because people don't want to be silent. And again, I think for me, the journey what I've been on, being able to hold that space and facilitate the space and be quite direct and not... Sometimes you go through life wanting to be liked, don't you? Oh, I've got to... I won't say anything because I don't want them to like me or whatever. But, you know, I didn't have the confidence before as well because I wanted to fit in and I didn't want to be stand out or, you know, people pleasing. Oh, yeah, I'll just do it just to keep it'll make them happy if they can chatter. No, this is how we're doing it tonight. And, you know, compassionately and kindly reminding people.
Shut up.
Yep.
But Mel style, which will be lovely and gentle. Yeah.
But then, and to watch just people having to hold that energy within themselves and their own power. And even, I think for me, I had fears about doing this because when I watch you do the glass walks and do whatever, I just think, wow, she's so amazing. The things what are coming out of her mouth.
That's all true.
And it just everything what you say is the right thing at the right time at the right moment. And I just think, how did she know how to say that? How did she? And I had all these thought processes myself, and then you doubt yourself and blah blah. But once I were in there, I was in it. So my mind was not chitter-chattering because I was being present and whatever was coming, I don't even know what I was saying.
Exactly.
But I was saying it, and I just know that it was the right thing at the right time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's that trusting yourself. It's not about a script or learning a script. It's not about having the exact right words written down abstractly somewhere else. It's about being in the presence of those people and trusting that the words that you're feeling are right for them.
Yeah.
And that can't be rehearsed. What can be done in preparation is what you do so wonderfully, is your meditation, your intention, and then just knowing I've got to trust myself for these people, and I trust that I am clear, ready for them. I love it's raining and we're in my summer house that I've turned into a studio. I love being in here when it's raining.
Yeah, it's just so cosy in here.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And so what did people say to you at the end of the night once they'd had the complete experience? Because I'm imagining that through it, people's stuff was surfacing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what it's there for. So it comes to the surface into awareness and no longer keeps controlling us. So I imagine that there was some of that coming up in the ways that it comes up in our westernized minds. What did people say when it was all complete and they'd had the full experience?
That part as well, the feedback what people gave, they were just buzzing. They were so happy, and the transformations what they'd gone through. Some people went through some difficult stuff, you know, some people don't even like the feet. I used to be the same. I would hate to have to get my feet out in front of people. So that in itself for some people is hard to do in the first place, never mind walking on glass. So different people went through different transformations. The feedback at the end, they're going to be on a reel or on a post soon, because we're typing them up onto post-it notes. It was just so humbling, and just to hear people's experiences and how they felt after it, at peace, that they've never experienced anything like that before. They feel empowered. They feel like they know they can do anything now. Just loads of different bits of feedback, and just to watch people.
We just don't know what's going on in someone's inner world that can feel as big as the actual world. We just don't know. And sometimes they don't know what's going on in their inner world until there's an emotion that alerts them to something doesn't feel. I'm feeling something and I don't know what it is, or I'm feeling fear, or I'm feeling resentment. Because some people might have felt resentful. I mean, I've had people actively want to come on a firewalk, and then I've seen them look at me and resent me. And it's just their stuff. I have to not be wounded by it.
Yeah.
Thinking this is my purpose. I love it. And so it shows up in so many different ways, doesn't it? And it's just part of their process until they come out the other side. And I think the buddies say, if it doesn't feel good yet, you're not through it.
Yeah.
Is it, they say that, don't they?
Yeah, and what you just said then about the facilitation as well, and the holding space, people, that does happen to people. And I think us as the facilitators, the space holder, is to not take things personally, or not be triggered, because we're humans as well, and we can get triggered. And it's about us having the awareness of our
Absolutely.
SHIT.
Well, that's why as well on the instructor training, that's why it's 6 days and soon to be 7 days, so that we do the work on ourselves, so that we reduce the risk of us being triggered, defensive, protective, that then actually brings our toxicity and makes them worse off. So there's a lot of work that we have to do on ourselves to hold space, to facilitate. It's not enough that we learn how to, this is how you walk over glass, this is how you brush the glass off their feet, this is how you walk over fire. That can't be enough as a transformational leader. It's about that. It's about that, doing the work on yourself, so that when you are facilitating, you can hold their anxiety, their fear, their resentment, their allocating hierarchy, dynamics. And unless you do the work, it's so brilliantly put, unless you do the work, then you can get triggered. You can end up having an argument with somebody thinking that their upset's about you. Not that I do, but I can feel there are some times when I think, oh, I've got something to work on there because I felt it. When somebody did that or said that or didn't do that, I felt something. And then I go away and think, I've got to work on my rejection because I felt it surfaced then, so I'm not done with that healing. That layer of it. What did you, I've got two questions really, and I think they're the same. What did you learn about yourself from last night that you did not know before, like you know now?
That I can do this. That I have been put on this earth for a purpose, to help people go through this stuff. You said earlier about being a speaker. I think that's what I need to do. Even though I don't want to do that, but this is there's two minds, isn't there? There's your ego mind and then there's your higher self. And my ego, if I let that run the show, I would not do anything, and I would never have done any of this. So I have to let my higher self come through, and my motivation is big. I think this is where the Buddhism really helps and comes in, because with Buddhism it's all about your motivation and to others rather than yourself. And that's really helped me do things in life, because I would not have done them because I would have held me back. So I know now that my purpose is to help people. I've got so much knowledge, experience, wisdom collected from over these years that I need to share it with people, because I would be selfish if I didn't, because of how I've transformed my mind. And everyone's got a mind, and everyone can do it, and everyone can do the same as what I've done. So yeah, I can do it. I know I can do it. Before I didn't, and last night was just so special and powerful, and I feel like we are chosen, and that in itself is like, wow, so special, honouring, humbling, that and we've been given gifts, and we have to share the gifts, don't we?
Yeah. And there's lots of different ways of being a speaker, isn't there? There's being able to eloquently and beautifully articulate a message that group needs to hear in that way. And there's also being on a big stage where they get what you've got. And I think we're speaking all the time. You know, it's not just how big the stage is and how big the audience is. We're speaking all the time.
Yeah.
We're speaking now, and there's no stage, but we wouldn't call this "you're a speaker," as in this is a speaking opportunity, but we're speaking.
Yeah.
And when we're having conversations with people, even in a corridor, we're speaking, and other people can hear as we go by. So when we are conscious, we have a duty of care to make sure that when we are speaking, we do it with great care, and we're not accidentally dangerous with our words, and only that it's a switch. Oh, I'm on a stage now I'll speak. That it is actually not an on-off thing. It just is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that is, because I think that comes into fears as well, of fear of being myself. You know, I felt like I had to be someone else, or this, or
I get
that.
Not for you, I mean. But for me, carry on.
And all the fears of speaking, because I have so much in my head, and sometimes I can't articulate it, and you see these great speakers, and you think, oh, I could never be like that. Or sometimes I don't ever know what I'm going to say. So there's that fear. And, you know, you've got to be perfect. What if the wrong word comes out? And so many different fears what go with that, with the speaking. But actually, like you say, if I just be myself.
Well, we're speaking. We are speaking all the time. You don't suddenly become a speaker. But I think what you learn when you're becoming a speaker is to be conscious about what you're saying and the impact you make with what you're saying, and who are you talking to, and are you flexing into how they need to hear things, and what is the message? Are you is it just a ramble about yourself and all your own wounds, and you're trauma dumping and then saying, so therefore I can do it? Not saying you said that, but I know people that do that. They say, I've got a great story because I've been through a lot, and then somebody's talk is just about all their injuries, and it can't be. It can't be that, because so what?
Yeah.
So what? It's about, what is it that I know will help this person, this group, this audience, and how can I say it in a way that I don't waste their time as I'm speaking, you know, like using the wrong words or the wrong sentences or things that don't have value, or diminishing things that actually should be in the light. So I love that you're doing speaker training, and I think my tip would be, just know you're speaking all the time. It's not something you're suddenly learning, but you're learning to refine what's my message, and have the courage to want to share it. Not wanting to attract another technical issue, but I have noticed that my battery is saying it's almost out. So as we follow life's guidance, what's one sentence you want to close this conversation on out down with?
Well, it just came to me. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Oh, Susan Jeffers.
Do
it, Susan Jeffers. Yeah, because fear doesn't go away when you're doing something courageous and it's outside your comfort zone, it trots alongside you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
that's what it's been doing. But
just trot alongside. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be in you. You can put it on the outside. Well done. I just want to say from my heart to you, excuse me, from my heart to yours, thank you for sharing your journey so far. We're definitely having a part 2.